That's okay. Thursday the 5th, our first week in this new energy of 2017. I hope everyone's year is going well. I should turn down my phone while we're doing this, but anyways, it's been a great week. I actually today kind of struggled to figure out what my topic was, or at least like I didn't really connect to it until after I had a conversation with my buddy Andy just now, and I connected to what I wanted to talk about. Before we get into that, which is what we're going to talk about is the universe versus the Innerverse, and kind of my thoughts on the future of us exploring those areas. But what I want to talk about before that is kind of just give you guys an update on this project. If you're not aware, this whole thing that I'm doing, I guess I'm starting to call it Next Life Live. Next Life is the network, but essentially the whole idea, the vision is to create a 24/7 streaming network. That's the vision. The process, or I guess I say the what's the word? What's the goal is to create a process that would get to that point. So this is more of like more than content. This is a process. I'm focused more on the process than the content, if that makes sense. So, and by doing that, because I'm focusing on more on the process, not on the content, I care less about things that you do care about when it is all about the content. For instance, I don't care about like what other people are doing or what they think about the content that I'm producing. Not to say that that's like completely gone, but like I'm significantly less caring about that. I'm also like I don't care about what other people are creating. I'm totally focused on what I want to create, and I don't care about. I'm not really looking to like get inspiration from anywhere else from inside of myself. And not to say that I don't get inspired by other people, because I do all the time. But like it's like an inner inspiration. I'm not like doing it because someone else wants me to do it. And I think it's because I think this is the way that we'll get clicks, if that makes sense. So, in doing all this, in focusing on the process, I'm actually able to avoid a lot of the pitfalls of creativity that typically come about, and which at least I've experienced in my life numerous times. And so far, it's been really great. Like I've been doing episodes Monday through Friday, and then I stream Saturday and Sunday. I do game streams. And that's it's been phenomenal, because I'm already to episode 15, and I just like it's just been pretty effortless. Like it's just really easy, It's like it's not like this isn't like high. It's like not polished whatsoever. But like with it not being polished, I've noticed that like I can easily actually create things, and it's like I don't always know what I'm gonna do, but like something, it's like because I've let the door open, like it's just like whoever wants to come in can come in, like I've noticed that like I've been collaborating with a lot more people, and like doing things like having an idea and then immediately acting upon that idea, which when you're a creator, sometimes like you can have all these ideas and you can get stuck in the idea mode where it's just like you're like, oh, I have this idea and I want to make it perfect before I actually act on it. Where it's just like I don't give a shit what it looks like. It's like this is inspiring me. I don't know all the details, but I'm just gonna go with it. And that's the energy that I'm putting forth on here. The goal being that like after doing like 100, 200, 300, 500,000 episodes, I will naturally the content will naturally be more polished. Will be it'll be awesome, because over that period of time, obviously, I'll just get better from practice. I'll have better technology. I'll meet more people. I'll learn more things. Like there's a lot of reasons for that, and then if I'm doing it 5 out of 7 days of the week, that's a big deal. So anyways, that's my rant regarding that, where I'm just really pumped and excited about this, and it's just been a pleasure to collaborate with a bunch of like cool people, and like I'm really like an open book usually. If I feel inspired to collaborate with someone, like I'm usually like, well, what do you want to do, and usually it inspires me because I feel like there's a reason why I'm attracted to this person, and it's usually because they have something very interesting and unique to share. So that's what I'm excited about with this channel. So thank you guys if you're watching. Thank you so much. I appreciate you so much. And hell yeah, let's get into this topic for today. So this is kind of, I want to say this topic is it's more of like we're just going into like thought, like. Let's like move into the future and think about like 50, 100 years from now, what will matter, what will be important, what's what are we going to be really like, what are we going to be exploring, like what unknowns are we going to be trying to understand more of. And what I think there's two major unknowns that we're going to be exploring, two major worlds that we're going to be exploring, that we're currently exploring, but I feel with technology and certain information and breakthroughs in science and just like awareness in general, in consciousness studies and all this, I think that we'll have capabilities to explore these things further than we've ever thought possible, and I think we'll realize that the world, like that our reality is much more deeper and complex, and I guess I would say there's more of a depth to it that maybe we much more of a depth to it than maybe what we think as of now. So those there's two layers of depths that I'm going to refer to. One being the universe, so like our where we live on Earth, we live in one particular galaxy, the Milky Way galaxy, and that's what it's called, right? We live in the Milky Way galaxy. That's correct, right? Milky Way. It is a galaxy. Okay, I just want to make sure that is okay. Right. Okay. Is the galaxy that contains our solar system. Okay, I just want to make sure I had the dynamics right with that. So yeah, we live in this galaxy, and we have not seen beyond it, or like I guess I would say like we're very limited knowledge of what's going on beyond our galaxy. But there's, from what we've been able to predict, is that there's billions and billions of other galaxies, and they all are part of a universe. And so I think the first way that and I don't know why this Skype thing is coming up, my bad. My apologies for that popping up. But so what I'm getting at with this is that, like, all right, so basically like the more obvious thing is that we're going to be exploring space and understanding like the world beyond Earth, because we've been on Earth for so long. It's been like I see it as like the humanity's crib. Like this is like, it's like we're just kind of we're just starting to get to a place where it's like, well, we should probably see what's beyond the crib, see what's going on out there. But I think that we are also realizing that there is a lot that's required to go beyond the crib, and just like a baby, in order to like let a baby out of a crib, there's a certain they have to grow to be a particular age, because like at that age they're more mature and they're able to walk on their own 2 feet, and they're able to eventually learn what can hurt them, what's good for them, what's bad for them. Don't swallow this marble. It's very simple things like that. I think that we can relate that to the human experience, in that like there are very basic, I guess like mechanics, or just basic, I guess I would say even like physics that we have to understand in order to go, travel into, even just to explore more of our galaxy, let alone exploring other galaxies. So there's this definite like exploration of the universe that it's going to be required. But then there's this other aspect of things. We also have an Innerverse, and this is, it's just like, Innerverse is not something that like our mainstream science would call a thing. This is more of like a pseudoscience, I guess I would say. And I don't think pseudoscience is anything bad. I think that when I say the word pseudoscience, I think that my immediate impression, just from conditioning, is that a pseudoscience is a bad thing. It's something that like you shouldn't trust. But any innovator, any sort of like new idea is pseudoscience to begin with. So basically, if you're not interested in new ideas, and you're not, it's like someone has to be interested in new ideas. Someone has to respect new ideas and new thought. And it's like if we constantly label pseudoscience as something as a bad thing, or like we just label in general any new forms of thought as a bad thing, because they're not quote unquote proven by a quote unquote particular institution, then we're gonna get lost. We're gonna be stuck. Anyways, so what I'm getting at with this is, so we have this Innerverse, which is the world within us. I would say it's like our dream state. It's it's our world of, it's like our world of imagination that goes very deep as well. And I believe like we have like a galaxy within our, I guess, our awareness. Like if you close your eyes, you meditate, you go into a void space within yourself. Very similar to like being out in space, darkness, nothingness. There are places that you can connect to that I think are within your inner galaxy, and I think there are multiple levels of, I guess I would say like multiple levels of awareness, which is like these different galaxies on an inner realm that you can connect to, and with this overlying kind of universe, which is your Innerverse, which it composes all of these things. So I think that this is obviously a hypothesis, but I really do feel like that the universe is just is a reflection of our Innerverse, and so basically we can go explore the depths of the unknown within both of these. One of these worlds being a very externalized world, one of these other worlds being very internalized worlds. But I think they work together, and I think that you can actually progress. You can progress through both of these worlds by being conscious and aware of both worlds and interacting with both of them. So, anyways, I think the future is really about us developing technologies that allow us to more effectively explore these two realms, and like I was just saying, I think like the more we explore our Innerverse, the more we'll be able to connect to information, ideas, resources that will help us to go the opposite direction, in terms of our universe, the externalized area. I think that's where we'll find, ideas, resources, tools to expand further into the universe. So, like, what's like some grounded ideas? I was just talking with my buddy Andy, and like we were talking about how it's like what if so there is this field of study that I've talked about before called like NLP or neurosemantics, and basically in a very quick nutshell, it's basically how you represent or reference your reality. Basically, you have you perceive your reality. It's like you have an experience, which is a sensory experience using your five senses. You have an experience, but then you have multiple layers that reference or represent that experience. For instance, like you have emotions that represent that experience. You have intentions that represent that experience. You have like you have a cinematic memory of that experience. For instance, like you can change how that experience looks and feels in your mind. You can edit it, you can change the music, you can change the lighting, you can change like the perspective, first person, third perspective, like you can add metaphorical representations of that experience. So basically all these things are collaborating into one. And basically, so our memories are the reflection of our experiences, but our memories are very much like editable and changeable. And so anyways, so this is like the study of neuro-linguistic programming. And so it's really the study of like how we perceive things. And knowing that like we actually are set up in very, very much ways similar to like a software, or even like even to the extent like we have hardware and we have software running. We're very much like computers in different ways, and so like we can essentially, I think in the future we're going to be able to like have a much better understanding of how to engineer ourselves, our inner world, so that we can explore it more fully and then actually bring those resources forward. And so like in a technology I had for that is where it's like you have this application that you open up, and basically this would be a world in which we can actually track our memories more effectively. So basically, like let's say you have like an iPod, your iPod Nano, which is, I would call it the iPod Neuro, and so basically like you open up, it would probably be holographic, so you open it up and like you have this database of all of these memories, but it's not specifically focus on the context or the I guess I would say the content of the memory. It's more focused on the feeling or the state of being that you were in. So for instance, maybe you have like a database of happiness, a database of joy, a database of like, it might be sadness, it might be a database of confidence, compassion, passion, or whatever, any sort of state that you would, I would assume you would want to be in. You would have these states, and basically so you could essentially like reference these different memories and be like, okay, what do I want to feel right now? Like I'm about to go hang out with my friends. What do I want to feel? What application do I want to open? I'll be like, I'll open the Joy app, and so you open up the Joy app, and then you have access to all these memories that are specifically associated with joy, and basically with the idea of syncing yourself up with this state of joy. And so you like go there, open it up, and basically either it's like I'm curious how we would store memories in the future. But I know in Black Mirror they talk about the show Black Mirror on Netflix. They talk about how basically there's a world where like you can actually like record your memories and then like re-experience them like immediately on demand. Like you can just like cast them up on your television and show them to your friends. Be like, oh yeah, I just had this business meeting. This is what happened. So maybe it could be like that, where you're literally like taking these memories and you can like immediately like see them and experience them, and then you use those memories to move your body and your physiology back into that, your neurophysiology into that state of being again, and then remember what that is like and embrace it and get into that state of joy, and then go do your thing. So that was kind of a long explanation, but like I think that's us kind of using technology to technology that's focused on more of our inner world to express ourselves more fully in our outer world, and that's more of like that's an interesting perspective. I don't know how I would feel in particular about that technology, but that's just like a very like broad perspective of that. But anyways, so basically I feel like there's some like great. There's been some great like explorers. One in particular is like Terrence McKenna. He like explored the realm of like psychotropic drugs and how they take you to these these worlds within yourself that are beyond our comprehension. And I think that just as like those are important worlds to discover, those are important worlds to understand, and there's like a lot of unknown. There's a lot of unknown in those areas. Like our society literally prohibits us from going into those realms, just like society essentially prohibits us from going into space unless like you're part of like a governmentally supervised program. So interesting enough, like it's like our parents, like our big brother, literally is like, no, you're not ready to do that yet. But I think like within the next 100 years, it's going to be like, okay, you're ready to do that, go do that, and that will be interesting. So I think that is like the challenge for humanity, is to get to a place where like we're ready to get out of the crib, not only on Earth in general, but like on our inner world. So yeah, it's more of a theoretical type of talk and explanation, but that's kind of just the thing that has been coming up to me today. I want to tune in with myself. Is there anything else that I wanted to say regarding that? I think that like basically when we went to Peru and I had this ayahuasca experience, it definitely showed me, it proved to me, just because my experiences were so overwhelmingly, they felt so real, that I realized that like there's no way that there couldn't be another. There's absolutely a coexisting reality or a coexisting universe that exists inside of me, and that universe is directly correlated with the one that's outside of me, and they're very much interconnected, and they're very much like a shared space, and so. I think that's why it's going to be increasingly important for us to be able to connect to those spaces, because if we go off into a world where we like completely say like, oh, that inner world is bullshit and like it's only the outer world, we're never going to get to where we actually want to be in this outer world. Or it just won't. I just can't see it as being what we're actually here for, what we're going for. And I think there's like an absolute need for us to like understand both worlds, equally, and know that they're both part of something. And like in the end, it's my belief that like it's the inner world that creates the outer world, because it's like that chicken before the egg, type of idea. And it's just like, well, one had to come first. What was it? Was it the outer world that came first or the inner world? I don't know. But in order to see the outer world, you need to have something to see with. And, it's like, and so it's just like everything that I'm perceiving right now is really like I'm projecting out, receiving information, it's coming back in. And I'm interpreting that information, and I'm ultimately just creating my reality right now. It's a deep topic that I definitely like. I'm interested in exploring more of. But I think today was more of like a theoretical. Let's talk about these random ideas and in my brain. But one of those kind of days. But anyways, yeah. So that was my thoughts for today. I think that's about all I have on that. If you guys have any interesting thoughts in terms of like the universe of the Innerverse, or like you have any stories that or like insight that you'd like to talk about, we should. And I'm very much like, as you watch me more, as you get more familiar with me, I'm super open-minded, and I think it's so important to be like grounded and like realistic in terms of like what is possible, but at the same time it's so important to be so optimistic and open to what is possible, because like, yeah, there are definite, like, it's like if I have my keys right here, if I drop them, they'll fall, like that's very clear, obviously, but like that's not always true. And when that's not true, it's like, well, things change. I mean, it depends on where I'm at, obviously. But I'm just saying, what I'm saying is that there are absolute grounded truths, but like, it's like in order to be someone who's in order to explore anything new it's like the whole concept of next life is like having it's like becoming a being that is so willing to put themselves in uncomfortable and unknown spaces that are not necessarily supported by the mainstream world, or even anyone that you are connected with. Like you're putting yourself in a place where like you're alone, you're on your own, but you're following your inspirations, and you're exploring the depths of the world or yourself that you're unaware of, and maybe a lot of others are unaware of, and you're going in there to find useful information, bring it back, and show it to the world. Like that is, that's how we evolve as human beings. And so like I am fascinated by new thought, by new ideas, by new technologies, whether those technologies are physical or non-physical. I'm interested in both, and I think like that it's like we need like those that is the merger is coming, not only with our like it's like our like a material like technology in terms of like materiality, and our biology are merging, but I also feel that there is like our non-physical and physical worlds are also merging, if that makes sense. And so it's like both are. It's important to embrace both. And if you're someone that like denies one part of it, like you're only going to be seeing one, like you're going to be missing half of a very necessary perspective, So the goal being like to have full perspective, but like if you're only operating from half perspective, like you're going to be very limited in a lot of different ways. So. And in order to occupy both, you have to be very willing to be, 1, vulnerable, 2, not right all the time, or unknowing most of the time. And what's 3? 3 is like letting go, really willing to let go and know that you're not in control. And I think that's a good one. So, anyways, I think I'm gonna end on that. I love you guys. I hope y'all have a great rest of your Thursday, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Peace.